So the LinkedDesign, so this is another FOF project, which also, as you learned, so is an IMS project. I will not present in detail this, but mainly the IMS activity. So the main input comes from the FP7 project, which is to develop the LEAP platform, big engineering and manufacturing platform, to allow data to be found in various types of documents about design and manufacturing and share them, among the various partners. The participants are from these countries that you see here, so the European Union, Switzerland, South Korea, Mexico, and the United States, through various networks that we have. So the IMS activity started in last month in the last steering committee. And in this activity, the IMS activity of LinkedDesign, we focus intentionally on the standardization part, on semantic interoperability. We believe that we found that there is a common interest there at this level for this particular topic, the exchange and sharing of information and knowledge between design and production and manufacturing. Yes, so these are the topics that we do here and we contribute to that. And the IMS project, so we go with longer term standardization activity, where in the work package 1, we expect to define the target standards, and we make some first steps on that, and we hope with international participation we will define it correctly. And then we go through work packets 2 to 5 to standardization workshops at the international level with as much as we can contact to the standardization bodies. We started already that, I will show you. And then some industrial pilots, and then deployment, and then maintenance, which go beyond the life of the current research project, I think. So the project definition phase that we have is that the core, let's say, players at the international level will be found and built, and we will, let's say, survey the existing standards on that, and also contact with various STEM working groups that are relevant in this area, and there are. The other one is that we have already some results from the previous FP6 and IMS project, the PROMISE project, which after the end of the project resulted to this quantum lifecycle activity, which is under the framework of the Open Group, which is an organization developing standards in this area. And now this QLab is the main part of what we call Platform 3.0 forum, when technologies in the area of the Internet of Things are developed, big data, cloud, etc. And we offer this contribution to this platform. And in the semantics level, ontologies, etc., we will contribute to the LinkedDesign ontology, as we call it, that we developed the LinkedDesign project. And also from the Open Group, it is the UDEF, Universal Data Element Framework, which is already there. And the semantic interoperability discussion, this is the topic. So this QLab starts from the PROMISE project, which was the background for realizing the closed lifecycle management model, and we won't go into details to that also, but this is a result of a previous project. And at the end, also with the support of the help of the Commission and the reviewers, particularly the reviewers in PROMISE, we did, I think, a good preparation for the follow-up activity in terms of standards. And what was the suggestion, and we understood that, and we went further, is to think beyond product lifecycle management. And we joined the Open Group, and the P product was replaced by Q Quantum, which extends the state-of-the-art PLM at that time and also today, I think, to address instance level closed-loop lifecycle information management from beginning, middle of life, and end of life. And also these standards can be applied to other kinds of life cycles, supply chain, humans, beverages, and services, etc. The scope, as I told you, addresses various types of technologies and applications in various levels. In this sector, this is the open group synergy. Open group has a lot of groups and platforms in various topics around that. And the Platform 3 initiative, which just started a couple of months ago, covers all these activities. Just before showing that, in STEP community, there is the well-known ELCS standard, which is promoted by another group, the OSS group. We know what happens there, we're in context with them, but ELCS was developed and used for big projects, like aerospace, while our approach addresses smaller, supposed to be strictly for SMEs, and also other types of applications. And what we offer, based on the promised results, is an architecture for QLab and two standards. One is the data model, which is for lightweight product lifecycle data representation, based on a product of the Promise, the semantic object model, which is followed up as a technology by two spin-offs of Promise, the Euronics company in Milano, Polimi, and the Promise Innovation in Finland, where I'm part also. And the messaging interface, which is a standard or suggestion or recommendation for lifecycle information exchange with systems and things via the internet. So it was some preparatory work for what we call today Internet of Things, and it will be also announced in the Internet of Things Week, which is this days in Helsinki. The LinkedDesign methodology, so we do this activity along with these lines of developing ontologies to prove that they are useful. We are developing cases, and we hope to test, to go to some pilot level, to test and prove to what extent ontologies are useful. So here we have an upper level ontology, as we call it, and then we have specializations in three cases to our end users. So Comau for lifecycle costing, Volkswagen, so you saw some examples presented by Sylvia yesterday, so with technical data, and Hacker Solutions with knowledge management and their captive technologies, and we want to call them under one ontology, which has some factors here, which is called factor, and to this factor we can call the specialized technologies and create bigger groups that define the concepts of sectors with specialized activities. Also, that's important in the so this is the input to that. So we expect and we hope that with this and feedback and opinions that we have from other actors in the last workshop in Charleston, we had already expressed interest from local industry and other consultants from the United States in this area. And we hope to start soon, maybe in Washington, DC, with some workshops around these topics. And then I think around the cases that we have in LinkedDesign, we hope to have pilots in the other areas of the IMS to be tested in different application scenarios. And then we have already the link to the open group. Maybe we can go also to ISO committees if there is interest, and then deploy and maintain the standard. This is the ambition, the long-term ambition that we would like to develop. So the consortium is, let's say, the European consortium here, and in we have links with these organizations through the open group and other local partners like Belgium here, and in Mexico, and also in the Korea through the KAIST when they develop this together in collaboration with these activities in this area. And this is open to also to other end users. So if as an IMS framework project, so it's open. If any company or association or partner wants to join projects, also other projects. So we heard also in the first session that there are projects working on that. So let's talk and see what we can do together. So this is the input. So this the presentations that they represent. So two projects that they have overlaps and also different terminology used. that we faced in the plant cockpit project, how to go ahead. And with this effort to go, no, this is not for you. So also in the previous talk, so maybe from Ian, so how to develop standards. There are too many standards. Let's pick another one, or we need to choose what we need to choose or combine them. I don't know if it is possible to combine standards because there are competitions in the market. I don't know, but we face these difficulties. And with my experience at least, where we are now, I think standardization is either standard, it's a way of exploitation. It may be also a tool for innovation. It's also a tool to enter a market or to create a market. But I think in our world of research and development, we need to go to the next step somehow, so I don't have the answer. But as we observe, there are difficulties to join ISO groups in terms of fees or in terms of accessing information. Sometimes it is difficult and we don't have the funds, or we are not allowed to use funds from the project to do. Anyway, this time will be limited to join standardization bodies. We are lucky we have already partnered with a member of standardization body, so we can promote what we do. If not, so we have to find other ways to do that. There is the question that if we want to go to the next maturity level in terms of creation of standards as an exploitation from the activities that we do, what is the support? What I know is that at the European Commission level, there is a task force, I don't know what is it, that organizes some workshops on standards. I think it is the NMP program. I followed one of them. We had some advice to go step by step with some cases. And that's it from my side. So I think now the floor is open to you, to comments, questions, and I think at the end we will have some conclusions, I hope, to share with you and do what is next. Please. Yes, and
maybe as a background information, yeah. My job, it was never.
No, it's not true. But only very few years I was directly responsible for standardization. But I have been related to these departments in various Directorate General as a Commission. So there are a few observations from my side. The first one is it depends very much on what you want to achieve. In terms of standardization, because if you go back to our Bible, which is the Treaty of the European Union, their standardization is standardization to avoid barriers in Europe, to create the internal market. So standardization is a tool for internal market working. It's logical. If the assessment of a vacuum cleaner, which is a real-world example, which we had, is different in Sweden, Electrolux, and in the European Union, and Sweden joins, then you have a practical barrier to the internal market.
We have others like the electricity plugs also.
Yeah. This is one of the nightmares. Yeah. This is the worst. That's what I always said to my boss when I had that job. I always said, you failed on the plug, and it's your responsibility. This is
for the signs on the highways.
But the first point I want to make is in the European Union, standardization for 90% of my colleagues is internal market standardization. So the objective is to make the internal market work. Compliance, testing, all of that. And that is also the thinking of CEN and CENELEC, and to a great extent of ETSI. And for that, we pay. So we have what is called a mandate. And in that mandate, we pay a huge amount of money. There's something like 25 million euro
budget a year which goes into this kind of standardization, so quite a number, which supports basically those bodies.
This is outside of the FP7 projects.
Outside of the FP7. So if you, at the end of the day, have the problem of that it threatens the working of the internal market, and then there's more cooperation to the US, one has first to discuss what is the relationship between this policy and this. If it comes to transatlantic cooperation like it is today everywhere in the East. So that is a very important point. If you go for that goal, you are on a completely different track from competitivity and making machine tools work with each other. And therefore, so my second observation is, and that is rather recently on cloud computing, one of your things in the open group. I say it again very direct. We are here with very few people. This is almost a perversion of the standardization system. If you have in cloud computing 25 competing organizations, and 25 was not enough, I was the chairman of that group, with 47 requests for being in that group on standardization, on IT standardization, on base, then you have the opposite of standard. You have 47 competing organizations which all say my standard is better, and one of them is the open group. But there were worse villains in that game. Now this is a joke, but what to do there, the only thing you can do is probably some political decision making. Which says, no, we want one. We don't. But that has never come to that. But it creates, it went that far that I was personally very much attacked because I said there were some incompatibilities or non-interoperabilities between Microsoft and some of their competitors. And who attacks you there? The representation for the standardization of the blinds, of the aids for blinds or handicapped. Then you are suddenly in the middle of a political debate which you cannot handle. Yeah? I was very much taken aback. So that is a completely different game. And who pays for it? We can pay for it through, for instance, the EU funding of FP7. But we don't want to create the 48th standardization body. Absolutely not. It's that. And this is very often misunderstood. These things are very often mixed, and then in the end, I look at it 2 years later and I say, why did it go so terribly wrong in the wrong direction? So can we first make clear what we want and which objective we follow and what the ultimate objective is?
Yes, I understand. I think so. Thank you very much for this comment, because it goes very well with my experience. So in that perspective, that I understand, I think. We are players here in research and development projects, and we have this objective to work on standardization. That's sometimes at the beginning we had the impression, or we were asked to go towards creation of standards. Now we are going with maturity, and I think that in research projects is not our role to create standards. In non-cockpit, we were carefully decided that we will deliver a specification for a possible standard. And then I think our role should stop there. If then there are other bodies, other organizations that they can take this knowledge, take the results of these kinds of projects, for example, both projects, CAP and Cloud Cockpit, harmonize them together, choose if it is a PPR or TPR or I don't know, whatever. But this goes towards the end of the project, or after these two projects, take this result and decide if we support this in an standardization body, which standardization body we will go for a new standard, or we will go to this committee and try to influence and promote these activities. But this requires some kind of, let's say, of organization at maybe your level or other levels, and put the rules of the game at our level, make them clear. Because sometimes we have in Blanco big organizations, and they say it's not our role to create standards. And they are not interested. And this work comes to us, to researchers, and we try to do our best. And believe us, we do our best. And our best, what we know to do, is to work on the technologies, try to find the common elements, and propose something at the technical level. If we are lucky to have people like Martin or me or others, we have some contacts and some who can feel not at your level what happens in the technical committees and how it is difficult, how it is time consuming to go to the next step of standardization activity. So this is my reaction to what you say, and I would like to hear also experience from other people if it is possible. Maybe Martin, you want to say something on your decision?
Might be also a comment on that. I have experience not only from a Blanco project but also from other projects where standardization is somehow an issue. And yeah, from the automation and control field here, there's always the, let's say, devotion to standards if they are from IC, for example, or ISO. And there's a totally different approach, I think, more from the ICT stuff, where standardization is completely different. Writing RFCs, etc., is standardization. That's one remark that might be a reason for the difficulties that we see among the companies. And another one is the long term. I think Dimitris has explained that very much. We need to have results, we need to have a vision, of course, where to go and what to do with that. And then we have to go in a very, very long way. Typically when we are taking IEC as a standardization body. And that was also discussed yesterday by Mr. Zimmermann, how far from normal situations our solutions are. And if they go far beyond what is currently state of the art, then standardization is different, then perhaps there's less politics involved. And I feel, my feeling is the more we are close to current technologies or technologies that will be used during a very short time frame, then it easily gets into political discussions, taking also standardization formalities that take the time, that are influenced in that way. That's an observation that I have from different projects, and I would also strongly suggest that we try to enhance existing things and try to focus things, develop things in a different domain, for example, but not just for pure creating the next standard.
Thank you. Another example is this FP7 project, which has the chance to be supported through European funding years ago, and it's a proof also that it takes time and years within projects or outside projects with various influences, with direct contacts and connections to ISO committees. And I remember when I was involved in that, so it took almost 1 year to vote for one draft, which took another year to become I don't remember the version DS or I don't remember, but it's a long time. Yeah.
Okay, good question actually, perhaps maybe a question or comment. If I draw two scenarios, one scenario is that, let's say, one of the FOF project develop new technology, and then the question is, when this new technology is ready for standardization or not, let's say, how do we define the starting points? Because new technology has to some maturity first, shows the potential for impact, show potential for, let's say, being used by a number of people, then standardization comes. The first question to me is, under this scenario, there is a starting point for even thinking about the standardization, perhaps. Second scenario is, there's a lot of different technology already mature, and then perhaps what Martin was referring to, there is a different body, and what Rainier was saying, there's a different body perhaps of the ISO and so on, dealing with this already college or a number of set of different technologies, mature technologies, and how to minimize, for example, the efforts and so on. So my question is first to the first scenario. How do you define the starting points for standardization when the technology is developed as a part of the future project or program? Is there any clear?
Yeah, I will tell you my experience so far. So in all the projects that we were involved in the last years, FP7 and FP6 and FP5 and FP6 and FP7, there was activity on standards. There was let's say not a pressure, but a requirement to work on standards. But it was not clear what to do. So there were the opinions we needed to, at the end of the project, to propose a standard, to create a standard. Then we learned very quickly that the most that we can do is to initiate a standardization process. So my view is, as we try to do with plan groups, is to write carefully in this activity standardization what you will deliver and how you will go to this delivery. And I think it depends also on the cases, on the scenarios, also the level of maturity of technology, TRL or whatever, you can measure that. To be careful that with help of reviewers in the evaluation stage or with the commission when we do the projects and we have the reviews. This happened in Promise, and I learned a lot from the Promise process, from the reviewers, from the review process, which was for 3.5 years, and that every review had comments and we improved a lot of something, because at the beginning in Promise we set standards and we didn't know what to do, and we say so we will abandon it. And in our review, one of the reviewers had knowledge and tell us, so either you do it the correct way or don't do it, remove this activity. And we decided to go ahead with help. We are somewhere, and this something that we proposed has a life after the project. So design carefully what you want to do. With the help of experts, we try to improve it and go step by step. If the final deliverable is a specification for something that can be standardized, this is the deliverable. Check at the commission level if there are other similar activities, like it is the case with plan cockpit and CAP, and you have the means and mechanisms to offer something or do something or invite people to do something with this towards the European promotion of European integration in terms of this technology. So I don't know if this is very important, but to some extent it is, and do whatever is correct to do. So this is my
And why I'm asking about that actually, because there is a number of projects in a given theme area, and then in the theme area people are addressing different problems. So sooner or later, after let's say these projects are finished,
this kind of events help to define that.
Exactly. So there is a potential for clustering this project and start discussing not an individual one, but looking at this cluster of project and see basically what kind of standards might be needed after the project is finished, I guess.
For example, this plan cockpit and CAP, we were together because I think we had the chance to have the same project officers in that case, and he told us so plan cockpit to work a little bit with CAP, so get in contact and see what it is done within the other and try to harmonize. So we didn't arrive to the harmonization level of terminology, but we have some discussion and we maybe at the end we may have a something common.
Yeah, what we see in a lot of projects that, for example, technical building service systems is common all over the manufacturing part. So that means we have production systems and the TBS systems. And we see a lot of potential to make standards on the TBS systems way, because it is, you need buildings, you have energy supply there, you have systems for compressed air system and so on, and you can measure that. And these measurements for the TBS need to be or could be standardized, I think. And that is a common issue if you make a footprint, for example, for your production, or do one point. And the other point, we will also have a workshop more in detail on these different topics, bodies, standardization bodies, on the GCSM conference. and maybe we can try to fix here one proposal together. I don't know.
So, just if time is passing, so please ask a question.
Short question. I know at least in Germany there are road mapping activities concerning standardization. What are the topics where companies are focusing on and the relevant groups? Is there any relation between EU involvement in that?
But I think it goes without saying that I think perhaps the first would make a checklist or whatever. Before you propose standardization, the first thing you have to do is you have to review the landscape, what existing standards are out there, and what standards could be used and taken up and supported by the project. I think that's the first decision. Secondly, if you say, well, we have something new, we could offer something in addition, you have to explore which are related or similar activities which you can build on, because I think the success of the standard always depends on the critical mass you have and on the spread on the market. So I think the first instance you have to try to join forces in order to build up a critical mass. And then on the third level, it's completely new and there's no similar activity and you want to create something really new, and you have to select the standardization bodies in order to see what contribution can be made, and then you have to decide who and over which time frame it can be made. So I think there could be decision trees how to deal with standardization, which is the same problem for every project. But you know, as harvesting the low-hanging fruit first, if we have two projects in a similar area, in particular the parameters for energy performance in the context of the manufacturing area are still considered in a very early phase. So here I think it's obvious that you somehow sit on a round table and decide, you know, what are the priorities, how can we harmonize our approach, and link to ongoing activities like from BDI in Germany or something like that, or others. I think that's obvious, but maybe the decision tree would help, I don't know.
Okay. Thank you very much. I think we will include all this in the notes, and then you may give additional feedback. So if you are happy with that, then we'll go to the next part of learning.